My name is Siwoo Kim. I'm a violinist. I'm here in Westerville right now, where I grew up, and I consider Westerville my hometown. It was, I look back and I couldn't have asked for a better upbringing. So I'm really, really excited to be back to play a virtual concert, and it's so meaningful that this orchestra, my hometown orchestra, would call me during this difficult time and ask me to play this concerto that I love so much. My parents were involved in music before I was born. My dad had an instrument store, my mom had a music school in South Korea. So once I was born, I was just surrounded by it, and it was a very natural process. Kids were practicing piano all day while I was crawling around the school. At the age of 5, we immigrated here. I'm an only child. My parents wanted a greater array of educational opportunities for aspiring musicians such as myself. Like thinking about Juilliard and whatnot. So I remember at the age of 6, my mother, her friend drove us to New York, and we went to Carnegie Hall. We went to the Juilliard, took pictures there, and one day you'll go here. And fast forward a little bit, we settle in Westerville. And at that point, I had already decided to study with the very famous, like a renowned teacher named Almita Vamos, who was in Chicago. And my parents were all settled here with work. So they were so dedicated and tried their best to take me to Chicago every weekend to get lessons from this famous husband and wife to Almita and Roland Vamos. Did that for a while, and then auditioned for Juilliard, got in, and did my undergrad and master's there. I remember there was a big, full circle moment when at Juilliard I won the school's competition, and I got to have my concerto debut in Carnegie Hall, in the big hall with the orchestra accompanying and everything. So that was really cool because, I told you we took pictures in front of Carnegie and Juilliard and stuff, so we sort of did the same thing again, it came true, kind of. And then I was admitted to this academy program by Carnegie Hall, which focused in a lot on entrepreneurship and education. It really made me think about what a role as a musician is in society. So that opened my eyes up to a whole world of possibilities, and I decided what I want to do in that realm is bring a music festival to the hometown that nurtured me. So, of course, Westerville was a suburb of Columbus, so Columbus, essentially. And that's generally what I've been doing. Now I'm not in an institution as a school, but I travel the world. I play concertos and chamber music. Chamber music is my biggest passion, which means small ensemble groups. So yeah, that's what keeps me busy in normal times. Well, I'm here this week in Westerville to play with the Westerville Symphony Orchestra. We're recording, it's a gray area right now because we're technically recording, but we're technically also playing a concert. The beauty of a concert is that it's ephemeral, and there's this immediate and communicative quality to it. And then if you're going to record, you think you're going to go through these sessions and go into a booth and try to make this picture-perfect thing. But the classical music industry is where I think the music industry in general, or maybe entertainments in general, we're all sort of experimenting right now. And what we're doing right now is trying to play a concert as if it is the ephemeral experience, where we're not bogged down and trying to make a picture perfect thing, but it's about trying to communicate to who we're playing for, the audience, the listeners. So I'm excited to be a part of it. I will be performing the Bach Concerto in the virtual concert format. Westerville Symphony, it's really cool to play with them because the first concerto performance I ever did was with them. And I played the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto. I was 13. It was at Westerville South High School. And I remember in the third movement, I was so excited and stressed out. And I remember in the third movement, my nose started bleeding. It's really hot, and I was stressed out, and it was, it's a 35-minute concerto. That's like you're shredding the whole time. So I just like, my nose started bleeding and I was like blood on my violin. And well, the conductor, Peter Stafford Wilson, reminded me of that. And I was like, yeah, last night or 2 nights ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I really like working with him. He's a mentor and a friend. It's just like, you know, I was in the Columbus Symphony Youth Orchestra as well. He was the one who really like encouraged me to do it. And yeah, I think in just many senses, growing up as a young teenager, or I don't know, prepubescent teenager, like I would go over to his place and he had a library of scores, orchestral scores, and I would borrow some of the concertos and I would study them and make copies of them and stuff, and return them and stuff like. So we go way back. I think he invited me to play with the Westerville Symphony, the Tchaikovsky, when he like stopped by the high school to meet the music director or something, and like saw me practicing. And I think that was like 12 or 13 around then. And since then, the rest is history. Yeah.